All right, folks, welcome back to Street City Studio. I'm John. In today's video, we're trying something a little different. Uh, I tend to make a lot of lists, either on my phone or on paper. But when I'm collecting or customizing, right, lots of sticky notes and lots of little short notes and lists. And I thought I would try and incorporate that here today a little bit with some dry erase fun. And now, hopefully, this goes well. This is my first time trying this, but let's see how this works here. Right. There we go. Right. Well, I kind of like how it's creating that little shadow. I was playing with the paper before getting started here, and I was trying to get the paper right up against the glass, but there was a little bit of a dip, a little bit of a sag to it, and it kind of creates a shadow. I don't hate it. Excuse me. But I can already foresee trying to write like this. My handwriting's usually fairly neat, but I can easily imagine trying to write like this is gonna be sloppy, at least to an extent, right? But I wanted to make a list of vintage collection figures that I still need, right? And it's not really a complete list, but I need to prioritize, right? I've been picking up a lot of figures recently. They're probably boxed up now, right? I got Dengar recently. Luke is here somewhere, but he's probably already tucked away. Alright, and so like there he is. My Luke, right? My original trilogy Luke. And that's what I'm thinking about today is basically, I don't want to limit it to original trilogy, but it definitely, when I get certain figures, I notice I've got gaps, right? So when I got Luke, the first thing I noticed getting Luke is I don't have Obi-Wan Kenobi to go with him. I don't have a Princess Leia to go with him. The only ones that I really have that can stand around him, and they're probably buried already too, right? I got a Han Solo, I got a Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2, some Jawas, right? Even that Tusken, I've got the Tusken with his head comes off from the Anakin fight scene, but he stands in well for maybe the one that was about to attack Luke in that one scene early on, right? But even other figures, right? We got vintage collection Jango Fett. And the first thing I want to do is put him up against his main opponents, right? And so I pull out the best Mace Windu I've got, and it's really not adequate, right? This Mace Windu has almost no leg articulation because of this hard skirt and the hard part of his robes. Won't let his legs bend at all, right? But not just that. We talked about it a little bit before, the discoloration on the neck, and even the likeness in the face isn't the best when you compare it to some of these newer figures. So I definitely need a new Mace Windu, right? So that's what we're here for. Let's start making this list. these guys out of the way here. And we can start all right there with the figures we've already mentioned, right? Go with Ben Kenobi. That B. Look at that B. See if we can thicken that up a little bit. And we need a New Hope princess. Right. Oh yeah, that's looking sloppy. Am I still on screen? Yeah, good. Alright, so Obi-Wan Kenobi and Princess Leia, right? The New Hope Princess Leia. Because I do have several Leias from the other movies. I have a Hoth Leia, I have an Endor Leia, right? But I don't have the New Hope, Tantive, or Death Star Princess Leia, right? Oh, and that also brings me back around to, right? I need old Ben Kenobi, but I'm also missing several other versions of Obi-Wan. Well, for me, one in particular, right? This is my younger Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I do have where is it? Yeah, I'll stick him right here. Oh, there goes John, taking a nap, sleeping on the job. Don't do that. There we go. Yeah. Even younger Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? But what I don't have is Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan. Is it? Yeah, Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan with a mullet haircut. So mullet Obi-Wan. So we'll just attach that right there. And we'll go mullet. Obi. Oh, that's going off screen a little bit, isn't it? Let me fix that. Here, we'll put it right here. But we'll try and keep it a little lower this time. Oh, I'm doing it again, isn't it? Here, I'm just going to leave it right there. Old Ben. Here, I'll even put that in there. Right. Old Ben. Oh, you can't see that either. That's alright. Let's turn it a little bit. Old Ben. See? Princess. Who else did we have? Oh, we still need Mace Windu. Mace Windu. And now I'm wondering some other important gaps that I can think of, right? I have several figures of the Emperor and Palpatine. I have this very old, non-articulated figure, right? And I have Darth Sidious from The Phantom Menace before he got scarred. Right, so he has the robes and he has the look, but he's not scarred up. I also have his Darth Sidious red robes from the Senate fight with Yoda, and I'm trying to remember if that's what he was wearing when he fought Mace Windu. I think it was a slightly different outfit when he fought Windu. But so I definitely need a standard Emperor, right? An original trilogy Emperor. Let's throw him right here. Right. Emperor. Did I spelled that wrong? Emperor. I still might have spelled that wrong. Oh well. Oh, I had it right the first time, didn't I? Getting stuck on it. Getting stuck. Hung up on it. Alright, but after the Emperor, I still definitely need a Tarkin, right? Tarkin. When I was young, I never cared much to have a lot of the officer figures, but as I get older, I'm starting to realize, I didn't do any army building, and so I don't have the officers in the army of stormtroopers or clone troopers. Right? And actually, while I'm up here, there's probably plenty of officers. Because you can't just have Tarkin by himself, right? You need a couple officers to have a meeting. Just put them around a table and have a little conference with them, right? Or even just walking down the hall, you need like a minimum of 2 or 3, right? You can have them walking down the hall together or anything like that. So that can lead right into some of the obvious name faces. I'm trying not to fill this up with army builders like the officers, right? Because I almost added stormtroopers and clone troopers, and I could easily fill this up too quickly. This isn't a lot of space for what I'm really trying to do here. I could write smaller, but then it'd be even harder to read and harder to write and blah blah blah, right? But right off the top of my head, I can think already. Right, I need Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Right, and I'm trying to avoid the cantina too, but I think we'll get into that now, right? I'm a big fan of the cantina scene, and I'm a big fan of filling out the characters for that scene or any of the scenes that I start collecting figures for, really. But I'm probably never gonna get the HasLab or whatever, the cantina, the full cantina. I'll probably 3D print it myself or parts of it just to save some space before I buy that whole set. But having said that, I do need Woo Her, right? The bartender. If I even spelled that right, I think that's right. Right, but any of those cantina characters, right? In the cantina. Characters. I'm not even gonna see. I could fill up the whole list with just cantina characters, right? But that includes the band, right? I don't have any of Finger and Dan's band there, the cantina band. I do have Panda Baba, but I don't have the professor, his buddy, right? So we'll put him on there, right? The professor. He's important, kinda. He had a speaking role. I don't like you. Right? He said, he doesn't like you. Oh, sorry. He says, I don't like you. I can never remember his name. It's like Evanson or something, right? Some sort of mad scientist character. I thought he was always neat. But he didn't get a lot of screen time in the movies, just one line. I'm trying to think who else I'm missing here. I do know who I'm missing here. We probably haven't even talked a lot about it, but I've always been a big fan of the pod racing, right? So the pod racers, and that's pretty much any and all of them because I don't have any of them at the moment, right? I have a young Jedi robed Anakin, but I don't have a civilian clothed Anakin or a pod racing Anakin. I don't have any of the pods, any of the racers, and I always wanted to. I always wanted to get each pod racer vehicle with its drivers. I always thought they were really cool looking. I don't even know if they made all of them. But whichever ones they did make, I would love to get. Because even the video game, there used to be a video game. We used to play that all the time. And I was never big on racing games. Racing games were never my thing. But just the fact that it was tied to Star Wars, and it was a good game, right? I'm sure it probably doesn't hold up too well these days, but I'm not much of a modern gamer, so that's what I grew up on. The pod racers are important. And that might even include, I know they made a pod racing specific Jabba the Hutt with the little gong and stuff. I might get that eventually. But I do have a Jabba that's not very high on the list. Trying to think who else I'm still missing. Right. But that definitely includes characters like Sebulba. I like Sebulba. The market scene with Jar Jar Binks. Right. But I got Jar Jar. I've got Qui-Gon Jinn and the Opie. Trying to think what else would be really important from the first 6 movies. Or even just trying to focus on the first 3, but you can see with Mace Windu and the pod racers, right? A lot of that's the sequels or prequels, right? I guess we could just fill it out right here, maybe with, right? We need clones. We need stormtroopers. Right. We already got officers up there. Who else do we need? Oh, I had always wanted to fill out my Wookiee ranks too for the Battle of Kashyyyk. Right? And I'm not even sure how many Wookiees they ended up making. And I know there's probably not a lot in the vintage collection, right? So you gotta kind of backtrack into the saga collections and the legacy collections or what have you. But I think that's a pretty good start. We can probably wrap it up right there, right? Oh, that clones isn't even on the list. You can't even see it. Clones. There you go. Sorry about that. I'm not watching the screen the whole time here either, I have a good approximation, but I even kind of outlined it, you see. But my outline was trying to stay outside the border too. That's all right. Trying something new, seeing how well it goes. Seems to have worked pretty well. We can make some more videos like this down the line. But obviously you guys got some say-so too, you know. If you don't like this format, if you don't like talking about making lists like this, you know, let me know. Maybe it won't happen again. But I thought I'd try something different, see how it goes. But as always, keep playing with them toys. All them toys. I'll talk to you again real soon. I appreciate you guys coming by. Have a good one.